We finally got to see the movie Pig. We thought it was going to be John Wick. We thought it was going to be Taken, but it was something completely different.
Everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick, John, and special guest Kyle. So Pig, something that Kyle had mentioned as a movie that was notable for him in 2021, and I had heard quite a bit about it, and like, well, that's something we should definitely watch and talk about. So Nick and I watched it for the first time in the last number of days. Expert Kyle, of course, being an expert, had already seen it before, but we're going to talk about it and see what we all came out of it thinking.
And if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment, too, on things you liked about the movie. If you thought Nicolas Cage was an excellent actor in this movie, or if you just thought he did a bad job, let us know down in the comments down below. And if you like this review, we have tons of others on the channel, so subscribe so you can get all the updates, and we'll see you soon. Okay, guys, there's a pig in this movie, and he gets taken. Spoilers right now, just in case, because we are going to be spoiling this movie like crazy.
I don't know if that's a spoiler as much as like a basis for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm so happy I watched this movie. I think this was like one of the best Nicolas Cage movies out there.
And I would say,
I don't know
no. I have to agree with you, Nick. And in my opinion, my reason is it's because he talked the least in this one. I think the less talking lines Nicolas Cage has, the better. He has gravitas just without using words.
Yeah,
which I think he uses to his advantage in this one.
Yeah, and it was. Yeah, go ahead, John. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and we had talked about this just very briefly before we started rolling. I mean, there was a period of time. It's been a number of years ago now, but where Nicolas Cage was considered a very high-profile actor. I mean, he had been, I think, nominated for Academy Awards earlier on in his career, and he for a while he was, I think, more picky about the roles he took, or he was just getting more higher profile jobs. And in more recent years, you think of him as not doing as like high profile movies, just because he does a lot of movies, and some of them are good movies, but that's not always what he gets remembered for. Yeah. He's like, and this movie, and this movie, and this movie, and some of them are really good, but some of them, aren't as much.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if some of it has to do with the directing as well, because I'm just gonna throw this out there. Was it Wicker Man or whatever, where he's like, oh my God, the bees, they're in my eyes. I'm like, well, that's just bad direction. They should say, all right, don't say that, or did you tell them, you know what I mean? So I'm sure some of it is the production as a whole, but in this, Kyle's correct. He does some great nonverbal acting. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I'm just going to touch on this. You know why he does so many movies, right?
Why?
What was tax issues, right?
Incredible debt.
Oh, wow.
He owes so much money, so he'll take like any movie job to just like pay off a lot of his debt. Because he like tried to buy an island, and there was like this whole thing where like all the properties and so I know for a while that's why he was like in every other movie. He needed to pay off some debt.
Every other movie.
And the most random movies too, because he's paying off some debt. But I think the reason why this movie was so good, because it gave us the opposite of what we think we're going to get constantly in this movie. Every time there was going to be like a tension scene, you're like, oh, is this going to be a fight? Are they going to throw punches? Are they going to pull out guns? It's like, no, they're going to do it with words. You know what I mean? Like,
he's going to cook a meal. I was like, oh, that's not what
man.
Exactly. Like the whole thing with the list, like get a list of items, and you're like, ooh, a gun. Is he going to make a bomb? Like, what's going down here? Is he going to bust open the door and take his pig home? And
I think actually what informs us a lot about what we expect with the movie is the opening scene, right? So we see Rob, Nicolas Cage's character, right, is making this mushroom tart, and it shows him actually going through the process of like making the thin dough for it, and then like preparing it and stuff. And I get this sense that we're actually looking at a man performing a sacrament, right? Like food is something sacred to Rob, right? Whereas like in the character for Amir, the young guy, right? That drives the Camaro or whatever, food is profane because all it is a means for him to gain profit and respect, right? And that's it, right?
Very true.
Yeah.
So it's really,
very true.
And did you? So we were talking just very briefly before I started rolling. I actually thought this from the few stills that I had seen from this movie. I don't think I'd even seen a trailer for this. I thought it was a period piece. I thought it was like a medieval Nicolas Cage. And then in the first, 5 minutes, this guy rolls up the camera and was like, dude, are you visiting the set? Like, is this in between takes? You're not supposed to be in this movie, And so I was completely thrown off pretty quickly. Did you guys know it was modern day type stuff, or were you not sure?
I was told before I watched it that it was, what was it? That it was John Wick meets the culinary world. So I was like, okay, this is a modern movie.
I still wouldn't know what that meant if someone told me that. It's like, what are you talking about?
I had the best experience thing because I didn't even watch a trailer for this. I just hit play when I watched it. So nice. I just really and those are like always end up being my favorite movies. Are the ones I know nothing about going into it. I feel like when I know something, then I'm already making all these decisions in my mind before I even like step in to watch it.
I gotta say that like even though none of it's true, the stuff they did for the lore of Portland, like the underground, like sort of like restaurant scene.
I hope
like,
it's true.
Is great.
I hope it's true.
Like,
that's the first thing I told Kyle, man. When I called him, I'm like, the first thing I said, even before Nicolas Cage, I'm like, do you think Portland's really like that?
It's finally just being exposed,
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay, really I have to get this off my chest. The best scene in the whole movie is when Nicolas Cage talks to the other chef. Yeah. And he like convinces him about his whole career. That was that was probably one of my favorite scenes in cinema in a while. He did such a good job. Both of them did. It was like very good acting.
Yeah.
I was just like, dang, it's so good.
I'm like basically I was just like, this is a man who has sold his soul. Like, like, like it's just like, man, this is painful to watch, Yeah.
It's so
but it
good.
was perfect. I mean, Nicolas Cage, you can kind of almost consider that his monologue of the movie, right? I mean, it's really long dialogue for him, but it's delivered wonderfully. And then you just see this guy's soul just being crushed as he's smiling. Like, that's great acting on his part, too. And then, the kid is just watching like, oh my God, what should I get up? Should I turn away? It's like, it was a great scene between the two of them. It was really, really fun moment acting.
I think that just to append that, so Amir's that I consider that Amir's turning point also, because like up until that point he's been pretty pretty arrogant and stuff, and we slowly see that get to this scene where he's like kind of softening a bit, but this is kind of where he flips to the other side of the coin finally, and he's more like he opens up to him a little bit, right? Where I think this is before he makes him breakfast or something. Like the French toast or something. You're supposed to use stale bread for French toast.
Oh, well, I thought he made him breakfast and then they went to the restaurant.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, make a reservation for lunch. Well, crap.
Because
you know
then,
what I mean.
no, but he had such a good character arc too, because it times it perfectly, right? Because right after that, he's kind of like, man, you're crazy, and they kind of go their separate ways because he wants to go to his dad's house, right? And then that's when he goes and he visits his mom.
Yeah,
and that's when we kind of get that backstory, and it's really, really nice timing. I can't remember the director's name for this movie. Do you guys remember the director's name for this movie? But this is his first feature-length movie.
Oh, really?
Wow, that's very interesting.
I'm just like, dang, I can't wait to see more from this guy.
Yeah, I want to see
more. I'm so pissed I don't know his name. Maybe we should cut that out.
We'll look it up. We'll look it up. Wait.
But I was just like, man, this is so good. And the analogy with food in this movie I thought it was so perfect. And the underworld and the underground, and gosh, the ending was just so amazing.
Director's name is Michael Sarnowski.
Good job. I love this movie. This might have been one of my favorite movies of 2021.
So keep an eye out for him, folks. You never know. And I think it also says more, again, going back to that scene. I think it says a lot about the culinary world in general, right? Because when the scene opens up, it's the server like giving that spiel of Eurydice, right? The restaurant, like, yes, we're like this. We reduce everything to its constituent elements, and it's just diatribe. It's all empty words, right? There's no soul in it, and that's kind of where Nicolas Cage comes in. He's like, do you feel like you're doing something worthwhile? Like he's like, yeah, everyone loves me. And he's like, no one respects you at all. Like you're trying to cater to them and they will never thank you for it. Right. And he's like, we rarely get to, Oh man, I'm just starting to
It's so
quote the
good.
movie now. But, like,
It's
yeah,
so
just,
good.
like,
We're gonna get
it's
a
so
copyright
good.
hit right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like he sticks his finger in it, and the kid's like, "Oh, real nice.
Real nice.
Okay, okay." It's just some of the, like, just some, again, that's just the nonverbal acting of Nicolas Cage. He's like,
Yeah.
and the kid's like, okay, yeah. There's some really fun things, and what else have we seen? The guy that what was the kid's name again?
Amir.
You were saying?
Yeah.
Amir. What other? He looks so familiar. I'm trying to think the other stuff I've seen him in. I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he looks familiar. I can't put my finger
I
on
know
it.
I've seen him in a number of things. I remember seeing him in some movies, especially when he was younger, but for whatever reason, I'm blanking on it right now. But he played a good role. I definitely did not like him early on. I'm like, I don't like this guy, but that was the whole point, and then you see his arc and his development over time. But yeah, there's a lot of good roles in this, and there's a lot of good moments.
Yeah.
And
Good
especially being a
emotion, good
first-time
acting.
Yeah.
There's so
It's-
much
it's
stuff.
like-
The I don't know what
Yes.
the budget was for this, but the cinematography and
It's
like
beautiful.
the color work on it is really, really, especially in the earlier parts. Those forest scenes in the earlier, the cabin scenes, were just lovely. And that, again, that's kind of still had me wanting to be a period piece, but all the stuff in the city was very beautiful.
Everything was shot was amazing.
Yeah, everything was shot beautifully. Yeah, it was really, really fun.
And they really did a good job with the themes of like love and loss.
Yes.
In this movie. Like I was just like every character had like, well, at least our three main characters, right? You would say like, father, son, and Nicolas Cage. But like the way they're dealing with love and loss, it's so intense.
Yeah, like the initial conversation with Rob and Amir's dad, like when he comes to see him about the pig, right? Like it's like I forget exactly what he says as he's about to like leave, but after he delivers that line, I go, "Oh, these are like two men who've both been broken by death or the loss of their wives, right?" Even though Rob's dad's wife is still alive, she's essentially dead because she can't speak and she's just she's like in a coma, or so we think, right? Given what we've seen, so it's like, intense.
Did you guys think the pig was gonna die?
I
was just curious.
I kind of viewed it. I mean, not like a not like a MacGuffin, because what the pig is. It's not like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, but it was just like a device to push the story forward, I guess. I mean, whatever the outcome was, I guess it was more to kind of get him back in this. But I didn't think about it
really
too
liked how they
much.
used that beat though, like literally because I liked how they did it in like the 3 parts too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like it was like a 90-minute movie. It was like 30 and I loved how they never lost track of the theme of where's the pig.
Yep.
Like literally that pushed the story like in every scene, like where's the pig? Where's the pig? Like and I just loved how that carried us through to the end, and then the emotion that we got out of all the characters at the end was pretty incredible and intense for a movie I did not expect. I just did not expect anything to go the way it went, and I think that's why I was just so enthralled by this. I loved this movie. It was so much fun to just watch a movie with not knowing what was going to happen and not predicting it the right way.
And that kind of does make me. I'm glad. I love movie trailers, which is odd to say because I feel like I on purpose try and avoid movie trailers these days because I feel like the marketing campaigns are so ramped up and you get so much of it that you kind of see too much going into movies now. But let's say late 90s, early 2000s, I felt like we got the right amount of movie trailers where I thought trailers were just wonderful. They were storytelling devices all unto themselves, and they were great. But I loved the idea of going into this not having any idea what this was about. In fact, actually, what I felt I knew about it actually being wrong. Like I literally had heard this was the Nicolas Cage John Wick movie, and it was definitely not that. And it's like, good, I'm glad, because I got an experience that I had no idea about, and so I enjoyed it even more. And so what you were saying, it's very true. It's like, I kind of, even if there's a movie I could not wait to see the Dune trailers. Kind of wish maybe I hadn't even seen any trailers for that now. It's like, man, maybe I would have enjoyed that even more, not having seen anything. It's like very interesting. But
sorry, John, we do trailer reviews here.
Dang it.
so sorry. We can reduce the amount of trailer video reviews, or we'll just keep
That
up
was
to
the whole
Arnold.
point of that, yeah.
Arnold strictly trailer moments only.
That's
But,
hilarious.
I'm so sorry.
That wasn't my point of that, Nick.
Okay,
all right?
so I have an interesting question. Do you think it hurt this movie by having Nicolas Cage in it for advertising sake?
I don't think so because
Okay.
one, he looked way different than typical Nicolas Cage fare, and for whatever reason, that didn't bother me as much. Like when you see an actor, they look like they always do in all other movies. That's a little bit harder for me, but he looks so much different in this. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I have much more beyond that, but I wasn't looking at it every moment thinking, oh, it's Nicolas Cage. Just I kind of just accepted him in the
Yeah,
role. that he was
as long
after a
as
while.
long as they cover his face in blood and hair, you kind of lose the character.
The whole movie, I'm like, please just take a shower. Next scene, just take a shower. It's like you're serving food and you're filthy. Like you got that kid's muffin or whatever she gave him. You picked it up with your hands. Like where have those? You were
Okay, so
pig earlier.
You just mentioned the muffin. Was that his daughter? At the bakery?
No, it was one of his students.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a little bit confused about that. I was like, was
it
that
took
his
me a while too.
daughter?
I
Yeah,
think-
wait,
When she said, thank you, chef, at the end, I'm like,
Okay.
oh, okay. It's
I
one of
think
the
she was
students,
also a colleague of Lori's.
Oh, his
His-
wife.
his-
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because she kept referring to Lori, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she
Just
was
a
the
heads
chef
up,
too?
I did watch
Right.
this on a plane, even though I had noise canceling headphones, and I watched it on the VLC player where I turned up the
So wait-
volume even more. I did struggle a little
So
bit.
it's not snakes on a plane; it's pig on a plane.
Pig on a plane.
Is what. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if they, had pigs on a plane. It'll be like a little dog on the plane. It'll be fun. But his
Your little
pig was
hand
so
motion.
nice. I would love to have a pet pig after seeing the way his pig react. I'm like, dude, pigs are sweet, man. I almost want to stop eating any type of
that's
pork
hilarious.
product.
That's awesome.
And then, did you guys know how tall Nicolas Cage was? Did you guys already know that he was already like 6 something? It looks like in the film.
No.
No, he looked giant. In
I
He
didn't
film,
know.
looked
though.
so big. That's what I just want to bring up. But I'm guessing he's tall in real life because he is huge in this movie. Like in the fight scene when that little dude comes up to punch him. I'm like,
Yeah, I was like,
man, he
that
looks
looks
like a giant.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
that looks like me standing next to basically anybody in real life. I was gonna say Kyle, but that's basically me next to anybody.
That's like
in real
John.
life. I'm
That's like John
tiny.
standing next to like
Shaquille
Hagrid.
O'Neal? I don't know.
Ha-
Hagrid. Yeah, there you go.
Nicolas Cage is
Okay,
6
Harry.
foot even.
Oh, wow. See, that's
Oh,
pretty
really?
tall, though.
I am
That's pretty tall
technically
for
taller
actors.
than Nicolas Cage. I'm 6'1". So
But
All right,
isn't
well,
that isn't that tall
my
for
analogy
actors
stands.
though? I don't think all actors are that tall. I think
No.
majority of actors are short, right?
I mean, I think so. John Travolta
Okay.
is 6'2".
Dang, he's tall.
Yeah.
It just
Anyways,
depends. But in this particular movie, he did look pretty massive and bulky in certain scenes. But I think that's just how they depicted him in this too. And obviously, he had a giant beard in this too, which makes him look thicker.
He's
too,
become
but-
a backwoods man. I liked the parallel arc that we have, or I guess the tandem arc that we have with Rob and Amir. So like
Yes.
with Rob, he's a man finding closure and redemption, right? And I think I would also say about the pig, the pig was a MacGuffin, but also at the same time, I also want, this is me venturing a guess, but I want to say the pig was a metaphor for him clinging on to the memory of his wife. And basically when he found out the pig died, it's like losing his wife all over again. And then with Amir, we're seeing this young man coming into his own and like learning about integrity, right? And like also like being his own individual separated from his father, right?
Yeah.
Because he's very much still within his father's world, right? In the beginning, even though he's like, oh yeah, I'm independent and I'm trying to, he's still under his father's shadow, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I thought it was interesting, Nick. You were saying, yeah, the goal. They never went away from the idea of I'm looking for my pig, but at the same time, like at the end of the movie, I didn't feel so much as like there's a resolution to the story as so much as like we got a number of character studies, and that's what
Exactly.
the movie was about. Do you think that's accurate, or do you think it really did revolve around finding the pig? I mean, I really felt like coming out of the end of the movie, it was just more of a the goal was to find the pig. I mean, it's the title of the movie, but at the same time, it's like at the end of the movie, it's like that. I felt like the story more was about like you said, love and loss more than really tracking down the pig. And obviously the pig represented, like Kyle was saying,
It was like the
a metaphor
motive.
for that.
It was the train tracks to the story, and the train was the love and the loss, just going full steam ahead, man. It was like going slow, and then it just keeps going, and I think I can, and it did. Would you guys want to rate this movie? If you guys had to rate it 1 out of 10, what would you guys rate it?
I'd give it a 9.8.
Oh,
ooh, 9.8. Boy, he's a stickler on those last 0.2.
He's just he's a baller, man. He's just like giving out points like no one's business.
No, like I really enjoyed this, and again, I think part of it is that I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I think it's probably at least an 8.5 for me, going on up towards a 9.
Cool.
It was really fun. I like Nicolas Cage. You know, a lot of people like to poke fun at Nicolas Cage, and I haven't seen a lot of his really bad movies, I guess. But when he was, kind of late 90s, I really like some of his movies in that period of time. Even if late 90s action movies haven't aged wonderfully necessarily, they're just fun movies, and he has. But like Kyle was saying, in this movie, he does have a very high capability of acting if he's given the right material for it, and I think this movie did allow him that. And it did help that you see it was shot and just filmed, and the post-production too, colorist and things like that. It was really well produced movie.
It kind of reminded me of the A24 movie, or A24. Yeah, I'm sorry. A24. They do like Lighthouse and they do what was the Gems one that they did with Adam Sandler. They're really good. Like, I don't want to say indie films, but obviously, you know what I mean? They're like smaller condensed stories. They're not like blockbuster movies. And this, I felt like this had the vibe of it, but like, I feel like if it was an A24 movie, there would be punching involved. And I'm always going back to I love how it caught me off guard with just like, hit them with dialogue, it's like, or hit them with no dialogue and hit them with acting, It's like, but I really enjoyed this movie. I'll probably give it a good 9.5. I really enjoyed it, and it's up there. By the way, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you liked it. Let us know what you ranked it to. Like, I'm really interested if it was up there as a perfect 10 or a 6. Like when John first said his ranking, I thought for sure he was gonna be, I liked it a lot, I'm gonna give it a 6. Like for some reason in my head, I just saw like a low number. I think I even chuckled too when he said like 8.7, because I was like, in my head, I'm like, I thought for some reason he was gonna say 6. Like he's a tough grader, but he's not. I don't know why that came to mind. Anyways,
John's a jerk. That's what the point out was. Jerk.
Comment down below, and if you're on Instagram, follow Kyle Pecos with a 0. He has amazing artwork, from sci-fi to fun animal art to everything you like. Just go over, follow him, let him know you came from AsArt, and he'll love it.
I will. I really.
He'll love it. He'll love it. That was the worst outro. He'll love it.
He will.
Like I say we keep it.
I say point. He'll love it. It was a point.
I say we keep
he'll
all this.
Love it. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next AsArt. Yeah.
Go to AsArt.space for all of our audio video links.